The journey begins not with a step, but with a slow, deliberate exhale. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears and allow the weight of the day to dissolve into the softness that supports you. Imagine for a moment that you are drifting across a vast ocean of clouds, moving effortlessly toward a place where time seems to pause. A city that has mastered the art of lingering. You are traveling to Paris. The very name summons a sigh of relief. It is the capital of romance, of light, and of history etched into limestone and wrought iron. But tonight, we are not rushing to see the monuments or standing in lines at the museums. We are here simply to be. We are here to witness the quiet magic that happens when the day surrenders to the evening and the city takes its first deep breath of the night. Imagine you have just arrived. The air is crisp, carrying that distinct coolness that rises from the river, mingled with the faint, sweet scent of roasted chestnuts and rain on hot pavement. You are walking along the right bank, your shoes making a soft, rhythmic clicking sound against the ancient cobblestones. The noise of the modern world feels miles away, muffled by the tall, elegant buildings that line the streets like silent guardians of the past. These buildings, with their slate gray mansard roofs and cream-colored facades, seem to glow with an inner warmth, holding onto the last heat of the afternoon sun. You turn a corner, and there it is. The Seine. It is the liquid heart of Paris. A ribbon of dark silk winding its way through the city's history. You find a set of stone steps, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, leading down from the street level to the water's edge. As you descend, the hum of traffic fades into a distant murmur, replaced by the gentle, hypnotic lapping of water against the stone quay. You find a quiet spot to sit on a wooden bench, right at the edge of the riverbank. The wood is cool and solid beneath you. You wrap your coat a little tighter, feeling a comfortable warmth settle around you like a blanket. It is the golden hour, that fleeting moment when the light softens and transforms everything it touches into a painting. Above you, the sky is transitioning through a spectrum of colors that has no name. It is a gradient of violet and dusty rose, fading into a deep, velvety indigo. The clouds are streaks of lavender stretched thin across the horizon, framing the silhouette of the city. To your left, the ornate arches of the Pont Alexander III Bridge span the water, adorned with golden statues that catch the fading light, glimmering like embers. You take a deep breath, tasting the damp, fresh air. It smells of the river, of moss, and faintly of butter and sugar from a nearby creperie. It is a scent that feels familiar, even if you have never been here before. It is the scent of anticipation. As you sit, watching the water, the atmosphere begins to shift. This is the moment Paris wakes up for the second time. The street lamps along the upper quay flicker to life, casting pools of warm, amber light onto the pavement and the trees. The plane trees, with their mottled bark and broad leaves, form a canopy overhead, their reflections beginning to dance on the surface of the river. The water of the Seine is mesmerizing. It is not still, but it is not rushing. It flows with a confident, steady rhythm, carrying secrets from one end of the city to the other. You watch as a flat riverboat, a bateau's mouch, glides silently past. Its glass roof reflects the twilight, and for a moment, you see the joyful faces of passengers inside, raising glasses in a toast. The boat moves on, leaving a gentle wake that ripples outward, distorting the reflections of the bridges and the buildings. And then the transformation is complete. The sun dips fully below the horizon, and the blue hour arrives. The sky is now a rich, luminous royal blue. The city lights intensify. Across the river, the windows of the apartments begin to glow with yellow warmth, revealing glimpses of lives being lived, a silhouette moving past a curtain, a cat sitting on a sill, a family gathering for dinner. But it is the river itself that captures your gaze. The surface of the Seine becomes a mirror, a liquid canvas. The amber streetlights stretch out across the water in long, shimmering pillars of gold. The red and white lights of passing cars on the bridges bleed into the dark water, creating streaks of ruby and diamond that wobble and weave with the current. The reflections are almost more beautiful than the reality, softer, dreamier, and constantly changing. You sit there, perfectly still, mesmerized by this play of light and water. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is no schedule to keep. There is only this moment, this bench, and the river flowing endlessly toward the sea. The anticipation of the night is not anxious. It is a promise of rest, of beauty, and of dreams waiting to be dreamt. You watch the reflections stretch and sway, hypnotized by the motion, feeling your eyelids grow heavy, synced with the slow, eternal rhythm of the Seine at dusk. The air in the Tuileries gardens holds a distinct freshness this late in the afternoon. A quiet pause between the heat of the day and the coming evening. You walk slowly along the wide, crushed gravel paths, the rhythmic sound of your footsteps providing a steady cadence to your thoughts. Around you, the manicured rows of linden trees stand in perfect symmetry, their leaves rustling softly in a gentle breeze that carries the green scent of boxwood and wet grass. It is a grounding aroma, earthy and clean, reminding you that even in the center of this grand stone city, nature breathes and rests. The sunlight has begun to soften, losing its harsh midday glare and adopting the mellow, amber quality of late afternoon. You move leisurely toward the edge of the gardens, passing the large octagonal basins where small wooden boats drift idly, pushed by the wind, leaving the gardens behind, you step out onto the riverside, the vast openness of the Seine greeting you. The river is the artery of Paris, a constant, flowing presence that has witnessed centuries of history. Yet today it seems calm, moving with a lazy, glossy, heavy flow. You cross the bridge, the stone warm under the soles of your shoes, and make your way onto the Isle de la Cité, the island that sits like a ship in the middle of the stream. You are heading for the Quai de l'Horloge, a stretch of embankment that hugs the side of the island, shadowed by the towering, turreted walls of ancient palaces. Descending the stone stairs toward the water, the sounds of the city above begin to fade, replaced by the soft lapping of the river against the quay. You find a quiet spot on the ancient limestone embankment and settle down. The stone here is cool and smooth, worn down by time and the elements. There is a specific scent here, the mineral smell of damp, ancient stone, a fragrance that speaks of history, and the deep, cold water flowing just feet away. It is a comforting, permanent smell, anchoring you to this specific place and time. You lean back, letting your shoulders drop, releasing the tension of travel. The view before you is a panorama of bridges and buildings on the right bank, their facades beginning to catch the last golden rays of the sun. But as you watch, the light begins to shift. This is the magic hour, the transition into the famous El Hura blue, the blue hour. The sky does not simply darken, it deepens, turning a rich, saturated indigo that feels velvety and thick. As the blue intensifies, the city responds. One by one, the street lamps along the riverbanks flicker to life. They do not burst on with sudden brightness, but seem to glow into existence, casting a warm, honey-colored light. You watch as the surface of the Seine transforms. The dark water catches these lights, and the golden reflections of the street lamps begin stretching into long ribbons across the current. These pillars of light are not static. They undulate and tremble with the movement of the water, mesmerizing and fluid. The atmosphere is heavy with tranquility. The hustle of the day has evaporated, leaving only this peaceful vigil by the water. You breathe in the cool river air, watching the interplay of the deep blue sky and the warm yellow lights. The contrast is soothing to the eyes. A bateau mouche, a riverboat, glides past in the distance, silent from this vantage point, leaving a gentle wake that ripples outward, distorting the reflections of the bridges and the buildings into abstract paintings of light. And then the transformation is complete. The sun has dipped fully below the horizon, and the true night begins to settle. The sky is now a luminous royal blue, a perfect backdrop for the city lights, which have intensified to a brilliant glow. Across the river, the windows of the apartments begin to shine with yellow warmth, revealing glimpses of quiet lives. A silhouette moving past a curtain, a cat sitting on a sill, a family gathering for dinner. But it is the river itself that captures your gaze and holds it. The surface of the Seine has become a mirror, a liquid canvas. The amber streetlights stretch out across the water in long, shimmering pillars of gold. The red and white lights of passing cars on the bridges bleed into the dark water, creating streaks of ruby and diamond that wobble and weave with the current. The reflections are almost more beautiful than the reality, softer, dreamier, and constantly changing. You sit there, perfectly still, mesmerized by this play of light and water. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is no schedule to keep. There is only this moment, this ancient stone beneath you, and the river flowing endlessly toward the sea. The anticipation of the night is not anxious. It is a promise of rest, of beauty, and of dreams waiting to be dreamt. You watch the reflections stretch and sway, hypnotized by the motion, feeling your eyelids grow heavy, synced with the slow, eternal rhythm of the Seine at dusk. The world is soft, the water is calm, and sleep is drifting closer with every gentle ripple. The sun has completed its arc over the slate-gray rooftops of Paris, marking the end of another day in the city of light. You find yourself returning to the water, drawn by the magnetic pull of the Seine as the afternoon fades into the velvet embrace of twilight. Tonight, your path leads you to the left bank, specifically the Quai Malaquais, a stretch of pavement that feels timeless and removed from the modern world. The air here holds a different weight than the rest of the city, heavier with history and lighter with the unhurried pace of the evening. To your left, the famous green metal boxes of the balquinistes line the parapet wall. These open-air bookshops are the soul of the riverbank, but at this hour they are closed. The heavy metal lids have been lowered and locked, securing the vintage posters, the yellowing paperbacks, and the antique maps within. You run a hand along the cool, painted metal as you walk slowly past them. The surface feels smooth and damp with the onset of evening dew, painted in that iconic, deep wagon green that is as much a part of Paris as the Eiffel Tower. There is something deeply comforting about these closed stalls, standing like silent sentinels, guarding the literary history of the city, while the books inside slumber in the dark. You move toward the stone wall, overlooking the river, and decide to pause. The limestone is cool beneath your hands, rough and solid, ancient stone that has absorbed centuries of Parisian sunsets and secrets. You find a quiet place to sit, perhaps on a wooden bench facing the water, or simply leaning against the wide stone ledge. The air here carries a specific signature, a faint, clean scent of river water mixed with the cooling stone and the damp earth of the nearby gardens. It is a fresh, elemental smell that clears the mind and signals the body that it is time to rest. the sounds of the city have shifted significantly. The urgent, staccato noise of the mid-afternoon has evaporated, replaced by a lower, steadier rhythm. Behind you, on the narrow street, the occasional car rolls by. The sound of tires moving over the uneven cobblestones is a rhythmic, muffled thrum, a low vibration that feels like a heavy wool blanket being pulled over the streets. It is not a noise that disturbs. Rather, it is a white noise, a background hum that confirms the city is winding down, preparing itself for rest, just as you are. But the most profound sound, and the one that captures your full attention, is the water itself. Below your feet, the Seine is moving with a steady, purposeful flow toward the sea. The water laps against the mossy base of the stone embankment. It creates a rhythmic, hypnotic sound. Lap, pause, lap. It is the heartbeat of Paris, slow and enduring. You close your eyes for a moment, simply listening to that liquid percussion against the limestone. It washes away the thoughts of the day, leaving only a blank, calm slate. When you open your eyes, the twilight has deepened into true dusk. The street lamps along the quay have flickered to life, casting a warm, amber glow that combats the encroaching blue of the night. This light transforms the river into a moving painting. Across the way, the grand facade of the Louvre begins to glow with golden illumination, standing proud and silent. These lights cast long, trembling reflections onto the dark surface of the water. You watch as a single pillar of amber light stretches out across the ripples, elongating and contracting with the movement of the current. It looks like liquid gold being poured into the night. The reflection is not static. It is alive, dancing slowly, stretching further and further until it seems to touch the very spot where you sit. The red and white lights of a bateau mouch drifting in the distance bleed into the dark water, creating streaks of ruby and diamond that wobble and weave, dissolving and reforming in the gentle wake. Your gaze softens as you trace the patterns of the light on the water, the contrast between the deep, inky blue of the river and the warm, glowing orange of the reflections is soothing to your tired eyes. You feel the tension in your shoulders dissolve, melting away like the wax of a candle in a quiet room. The rhythmic lap of the water against the wall syncs with your breathing, in and out. The river flows, and you flow with it. There is a profound sense of solitude here on the Quai Malaquais, but not loneliness. You are accompanied by the river, by the silent books in their green boxes, and by the protective presence of the city. The world feels safe, enclosed in the soft gloom of the evening. The gentle motion of the water rocking against the stone lulls you deeper into a state of heaviness. Your eyelids flutter, heavy with the promise of sleep. The muffled hum of the left bank fades into a distant whisper, and all that remains is the water, the light, and the deep, restorative peace of the Parisian night. You rise slowly from the wall along the Quai Malaquais, leaving the quiet company of the booksellers behind. The evening air has cooled, carrying the fresh, clean scent of the river as you walk toward the oldest bridge in the city, the Pont Neuf. But you do not cross to the other bank just yet. Instead, you find the narrow stone staircase that descends from the bridge, leading you down into a hidden pocket of peace known as the Square du Vergalant. With each step down the worn limestone stairs, the sounds of the city above seem to drift away, replaced by the intimate murmur of the Seine. You reach the gravel path of the small park, a teardrop of land that forms the very tip of the island. It feels as though you are standing on the prow of a great, silent ship that is eternally anchored in the heart of Paris. You walk to the very edge, where the stone meets the current, and find a quiet place to sit beneath the canopy of ancient trees. Above you, the branches of the majestic plane trees stretch out like protective arms, their leaves creating a ceiling that filters the city light. A gentle breeze passes through the foliage, creating a soft, rustling sound that mimics the rushing water below. It is a whisper of nature in the center of the metropolis, a soothing white noise that clears your mind of any lingering thoughts. You lean back, resting against the sturdy trunk of a tree, feeling the solid earth beneath you, and let your gaze drift outward. From this vantage point, you watch the dark waters of the Seine divide. The river approaches the point of the island and splits effortlessly, flowing around the stone banks on either side before rejoining downstream. The surface of the water has become a dark liquid mirror, smoothing out as the wind dies down. It captures the fading light of the sky, holding the reflection of the bridges in its depths like a secret. You lift your eyes to the horizon. The sun has long since dipped below the rooftops, and the sky is transforming. The soft purples of twilight are deepening, thickening into a rich, velvet indigo. It is a color of immense depth and comfort, wrapping around the city like a heavy, warm blanket. As the blue deepens, the first few stars begin to twinkle faintly, shy and distant above the silhouettes of the Louvre and the Mint. The city is winding down. The traffic is merely a hum, far removed from your sanctuary at the water's edge. Suddenly, a distinct sound carries across the stillness. From a nearby bridge, the melodic clink of a glass touching another rings out, clear and bell-like. It is a sound of connection, a tiny musical note that hangs in the air for a moment before dissolving into the indigo night. It brings a faint smile to your face, a reminder of the quiet joy that permeates the Parisian evening. You turn your attention back to the water at your feet. The reflections of the amber street lamps have begun to stretch across the surface, pillars of gold lengthening into the darkness. You watch them shimmer, mesmerizing and slow. Your breathing matches the slow, steady flow of the river. There is no rush here. The water moves at its own pace, and so do you. A profound heaviness settles into your limbs, a comfortable weight that anchors you to this moment of calm. The world is water and shadow, light and indigo. You are safe, you are still, and you are ready to drift into the gentle embrace of sleep. The rhythm of Paris changes entirely when you cross the narrow footbridge to the Isle St. Louis. You leave the grand boulevards and the lively cafes behind, stepping onto an island that feels like a village lost in time, floating quietly in the center of the Seine. It is here, on the Quai d'Anjou, that the city takes a deep, restorative breath. The evening has settled in fully now, a soft blanket of twilight that dims the limestone facades of the 17th century mansions lining the street. These grand old houses, with their heavy wooden doors and wrought iron balconies, stand as silent guardians of the river, their windows beginning to glow with warm, amber light as the residents settle in for the night. You walk slowly along the embankment. The cobblestones beneath your feet feel solid and grounding. Ancient stones that have known the footsteps of dreamers for hundreds of years. There is a profound stillness here. The roar of the metropolis is reduced to a distant, rhythmic hum, barely audible over the gentle sounds of the river. You pass beneath the outstretched branches of tall plane trees, their leaves rustling softly in a breeze that carries the distinct freshness of the water. As you stroll further along the quay, a new scent drifts toward you, weaving through the cool evening air. It is warm and undeniably inviting. It is the aroma of batter hitting a hot griddle, the rich fragrance of melting butter, and the caramelized sweetness of toasted sugar. A small stand, tucked near the corner of a bridge, radiates a golden halo of light against the deepening blue of the dusk. You approach it, the anticipation already comforting. You receive a crepe, folded neatly into a triangle, wrapped in paper that warms your hands instantly against the evening chill. The first bite is crisp and soft all at once, the simple, sugary warmth spreading through you, a taste of pure nostalgia that fits perfectly with the quiet charm of the island. With your treat in hand, you find a set of stone steps leading down toward the water's edge. This lower quay is a secret world, separated from the street above by high stone walls. You sit near the river, feeling the solid, cool stone beneath you. The city feels miles away, yet it surrounds you completely. Somewhere in the distance, echoing off the stone arch of a bridge, comes the faint, cheerful ring of a bicycle bell. It is a lonely, happy sound, fading as quickly as it arrived, leaving the silence even deeper than before. Your eyes rest on the Seine. The water has transformed with the hour. What was a slate gray during the day has deepened into a rich, mysterious indigo. It is a dark, moving canvas, smooth and glassy. Across the river, the street lamps along the right bank have flickered to life. They are glowing orbs of warm yellow, and their brilliance is caught by the moving water. You study these reflections. They are like liquid golden ribbons, stretching out from the bank and reaching toward you across the darkness. They do not stay still. They undulate and dance, lengthening and shortening with the subtle current. It is hypnotic to watch. The gold shimmers and breaks apart, then comes back together. A ceaseless, mesmerizing display of light and motion. The water is thick and slow, moving with a lethargic power that seems to slow your own pulse. You take a deep breath, inhaling the scent of the river and the lingering sweetness of the sugar. The air is cool, but you feel warm, anchored by the heavy stone and the gentle spectacle before you. The ribbons of light seem to pull you deeper into a state of relaxation. They stretch and blur as your eyelids grow heavy. The contrast between the dark indigo water and the brilliant gold light softens as your focus relaxes. Everything is slowing down. The river flows toward the sea without rushing, trusting the path it has carved over centuries. You feel a kinship with that flow. There is nothing left to do today. The walking is done. The exploring is finished. Now is the time for stillness. You watch one specific ripple catch the light, following it as it drifts downstream until it disappears into the shadows under the bridge. The sounds of the city have faded into a soothing white noise, a cradle of sound that wraps around you. The heaviness in your limbs is pleasant, a sign that your body is ready to rest, ready to release the day. You are safe here on the quiet island, guarded by the old stone mansions and the silent trees. The water continues its eternal journey, carrying away any lingering thoughts, leaving your mind as clear and smooth as the surface of the Seine. You are ready to close your eyes, to let the image of the golden ribbons guide you into the velvet darkness of sleep. The night in Paris is a gentle friend, and it holds you now in its calm, quiet embrace. The sun begins its slow descent over the Seine, casting long, stretching shadows across the pale stone of the Pont Neuf. Despite its name, which means new bridge, this is the oldest standing bridge in Paris, a resilient witness to centuries of sunsets, just like this one. You stand for a moment on the upper pavement, running your hand along the rough, cool texture of the stone parapet. Below you, the river moves with a steady, hypnotic rhythm, a dark ribbon winding its way through the very heart of the city. You decide to leave the bustling street level behind, finding a small flight of worn stone stairs. You descend slowly to the lower riverbanks, the quays. As you step down, the noise of the traffic above fades into a distant, rhythmic hum, separated from you by the thick limestone walls. The air down here feels different, cooler and carrying the distinct, earthy scent of the river water. Mingling with the damp air is a warm, comforting aroma drifting from a vendor's cart on the bridge above. It is the smell of roasted chestnuts, sweet and smoky, carried on the gentle evening wind. You walk slowly along the cobblestones until you find a heavy stone bench tucked into an alcove near the base of the bridge's massive pillars. It is a perfect, secluded place to rest. You sit, feeling the solid support of the stone beneath you. You lean back, letting your shoulders drop, releasing the weight of the day. This is the 5th day of your journey, a culmination of the time you have spent wandering these historic streets. As you gaze out at the water, the sky begins to transform. The bright blue of the afternoon deepens, surrendering to a rich, velvety indigo. The sun has dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a faint, amber glow that silhouettes the buildings on the opposite bank. The Louvre, the museums, and the distant spires all become dark, majestic shapes cut out against the deepening twilight. The city is preparing for the night, changing its attire from the bustle of commerce to the elegance of the evening. On the water, the traffic of boats begins to glide past. They are large, flat vessels, their decks filled with silent observers taking in the city views. From the sides of these boats, sweeping fans of light cut through the gathering darkness. These beams of light skate across the surface of the water, illuminating the ripples and waves in brilliant, fleeting gold. You watch the lights approach, glowing intensely, and then fade away as the boat moves on, leaving the river to return to its dark, mysterious state. The reflection of the city lights begins to shimmer on the surface of the Seine. Street lamps flicker on, casting pillars of orange and yellow that stretch and wobble in the current. You find your eyes tracing the length of these reflections. They seem to pull the tension right out of your mind, stretching it thin until it dissolves into the water. Reflecting on the last 5 days, you feel a profound sense of gratitude. You have walked through manicured gardens, stood in the cool shadows of great cathedrals, and listened to the soft patter of rain on the pavement. You have tasted the sweetness of sugar and the warmth of bread. Now there is nowhere else you need to go. The exploring is done. The itinerary is finished. All that remains is this moment of stillness. The air grows still as the indigo sky fully meets the dark silhouette of the city. The contrast between the solid, unmoving stone of the bridge behind you and the fluid, ever-changing water before you creates a balance that resonates within your chest. You feel grounded, yet fluid, heavy yet light. The sounds of the city drift further away, becoming a soft, indistinct lullaby. The gentle lapping of the water against the stone quay serves as a steady metronome for your breathing. In and out, slow and steady. The scent of the roasted chestnuts lingers faintly, a warm memory in the cool air. The sweeping lights of the boats become hypnotic, a rhythmic pulse of brightness and shadow that invites your eyes to soften. You allow your eyes to close for a moment, listening to the river. It flows toward the sea without rushing, trusting its path completely. You feel a kinship with that flow. You too are flowing toward a place of rest, trusting the natural rhythm of your body to take you there. The darkness of the Paris night is not empty. It is a velvet blanket, soft and protective. Sitting here, beside the oldest bridge, you feel the timelessness of the city seeping into your bones. The centuries of history are a cushion, a stable foundation that allows you to let go of the present moment. The 5 days of walking have led to this singular point of peace. Your breath deepens, filling your lungs with the cool night air. The tension in your legs, your back, and your neck simply melts away, carried off by the current of the Seine. You open your eyes one last time to see the river turning to a deep, dark ink, holding the secrets of the night. The reflections are softer now, blurry and dreamlike. The lights of the city are no longer distinct shapes, but a warm glow that cradles the horizon. You are ready to leave the bench, to return to the comfort of your room, but you carry this stillness with you. The river flows within you now. The indigo sky is behind your eyes. Paris watches over you, a silent guardian as you drift closer and closer to sleep.